Any points you want to highlight? So has this convinced you that you should have at least 5 kids?
5?
Yeah.
Is that even possible these days?
Yeah.
I'll have negative like 45 grand, I think.
Burp. That's pretty much everyone. Any advice and information from this podcast is general only. It has been prepared without taking into account your individual circumstances and needs. Before acting on any advice from this podcast, you should assess and seek advice on whether it is appropriate for your needs, financial situation, and investment objectives. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and others that are listening out there. Something a little bit different for this episode. Something you've probably heard in the comments on every podcast. We're going to sort of deep dive into the differences between
DINK versus DILK.
DINK versus DILK. You've probably heard that phrase a few times, whether it's from us or other sources. So DINK, dual income, no kids, a la J Mac over there, versus the DILK, which is dual income, lots of kids, which is kind of myself. Plenty of discussions about it. People think about it. Maybe they give it thought, maybe they don't. I've actually chatted to people that are, sometimes this is sort of where they get stuck on if they should have kids, especially in the current climate. What are your thoughts, J Mac? Not to get too personal on it, but like, you've talked with your clients, cost of living, rising expenses. How are we going to afford a house, let alone have kids? I don't know if that's something you've ever come across, discussed, thought about.
Yeah, because I guess it is a big difference between DINK and DILK life. There's
big difference in just how much you spend on holidays and how much you don't work, or
both.
Yeah, or both. So we'll do a few comparisons. We'll dive into a little bit of the psychology of it, maybe just outline a few things and see how we go from there. But I guess if there was a question, not that it is one, what if I'd had kids, or what if we'd lived kidless forever? Shout out to my wife who's out there. She's probably making an awesome TikTok reel at the moment. It's going viral.
She's going off.
But I dare not show her the maths of this in case we think about the lots of zeros of money we've poured into our kids, which is a good problem to have. I definitely,
beautiful.
plenty of people that can't have kids, all that kind of stuff. We've got 3 of them, hellraisers, grey hair creators, trips to the hospital, all that kind of stuff. But we'll dive into the numerical side. This is not to outline whether it's right or wrong, should or shouldn't, yes or no. It's purely just a few considerations, have a bit of fun with it, and see which one comes out on top. Anyway, all right. So we'll use a bit of a general case study, I guess, to make everything equal. DINK, dual income, no kids, both adults earning 100 grand, say roughly in their 30s. They might have a savings account on the side where they're earning about another 2.5 grand. They pay tax on that. So all those incomes, you're roughly paying about 46,000 in tax. So your net income after taxes is about 156 grand. J-Max is obviously a lot more and she works a lot less, but her and her partner, that's sort of where they sit. Now, we've just used some national sort of averages just to fill out, like, what are your fixed expenses, what are your discretionary expenses, and then go from there. So we'll use that. But before we get into the facts, figures and numbers, with some of the clients you've had, J-Mac, have any clients sort of outlined, or have you had discussions about the whole, hey, should we have kids? We're about to have kids. What should we consider? Maybe we shouldn't have kids because of what you've just shown us. Have you come across that? I think you have.
Yeah, I did have a client come in asking about that actually a while ago. He was actually doing what I thought was interesting. He was doing some financial nesting.
Wait, what's this? What is it?
When you're getting ready for kids, you start like in the house, what is it called? Is it nesting?
Nesting, something definitely one of the couple will go through, whether it's like spring cleaning, getting the room ready,
painting the room, having
Yep.
the crib and that. I think he was doing financial nesting,
100%.
which
It
I
is
never
something.
thought about before.
Yep. It's
Because he went through and kind of looked at all the expenses, tried to kind of shop around, get everything as efficient as possible.
yeah, because these things are going to come up. These things are going to come up either pre-kid, during kid, regarding like the financial nesting. Oh my God, you're gonna the mum, presumably the mum is gonna have to have time off, reduced income. Kid means another mouth to feed. Oh my God, in like a year or two when you go back to work, we have to do daycare. Wait, my 2-seat ute that we've lived awesomely in now needs to be a 3-seater or a sedan or something. Like all these things will come into it.
Yeah.
We can sort of touch on those, not to scare anyone off, but these are things you'll probably have to consider, especially if you have a few more kids down the track. I've definitely experienced the financial nesting side.
Did you do some financial nesting?
I did. This even happened well before my oldest kid's 11 and a half. I definitely had to put my hat on. You know, funny enough, at the time, we had a negatively geared investment property.
Oh, yeah.
So when my second kid was on his way, I hadn't learned a lesson from my first kid. Anyway, second kid on his way, cash flow was pretty tight, and I was right on the cusp of getting a second job just to go, how are we going to keep this house or whatever. We ended up, after a little while, we ended up biting the bullet, selling our property that we had.
The investment property.
That's a story for another time. I'm pretty sure it was in another episode, but these things you're going to have to come, discuss, answer, work through how you sort of go about it. And not to get too deep into it again, but couples might have they might have a common couple goal, retire on the beach by age 60, but in between that, one might want to travel more than the other, buy a brand new Lamborghini, So when all that rolls in, should we have kids, should we haven't? Because they're going to potentially affect my career, they're going to cost a little bit more. I want one parent might be like, right, I'm happy if they go to a state school. The other parent might be like, no, they're going to the most prestigious school that there is.
Yeah.
These things will have to be discussed and unearthed throughout the passage of that time.
This is a really good topic because I feel like there is a lot of people considering having kids, and I guess there's a lot of us, because I think we're even the majority now in our 30s, are child-free, and like finances would be a big factor, I think, for a lot of people considering having kids. So
it is, and especially with what we've talked about before, living costs are increasing. But incomes aren't necessarily increasing with it. So if that's sort of, for some people that's their heart set dream goal to have heaps of kids, one kid, whatever.
Yeah.
It can tingle a little bit. But there's no right or wrong. However you've grown up, I've sort of grown up, you meet some families that live off just bread and butter.
And they're happy
and they are happy with that. If you, I've spent some time in Southeast Asia, third world, and a few other third world countries. A lot of those kids don't know what you don't know, don't have what you don't have, happy playing with a stick and an old tyre. They don't need a $5,000 laptop, gaming console, brand new Trek mountain bike or whatever. Everyone is different, I suppose, but we'll sort of go over how it might affect a couple financially. I don't know if I want to go through this actually. But
too confronting.
Everyone's different. You're just going to have to work through that bit. We can't, an advisor can maybe discuss some of the things with you. But I've definitely had to outline that to a few couples. Just go, hey, FYI, these things are coming up. You're 4 months pregnant. You've got half an idea. Here's the other half. The government gives some allowances. They help you out. But if you want to maintain your career, go back to work, you're probably going to have to do something like daycare.
Yeah.
Potential medical bills, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. As we were sort of talking about, hold me if I get emotional about how much money we might have. No, don't. And you know, for this one, just a quick outline. This is just a comparison, bit of a muck around. But at the end of the day, it can't always be about the money side of things. Kids offer something else. Obviously, don't have as much free time as JMac. How many hours do you have a week free? So here's going back. What does the morning and the afternoon look like for a DINK couple during the week? Just generally. Keep it PG. Fucking hell.
Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah, go. Just like, I know, because I think you got a couple of dogs or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and what are the dogs yipping at you in the morning to feed me, taking me out of the toilet?
No, they like to sleep in actually.
Yep.
Yeah, just get up, have a leisurely breakfast, do a quick workout.
Yeah, you don't have to break up an argument between the dogs?
No fighting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's your morning look like?
Before I go into mine, what's your afternoon look like? You got you and your partner finish work, get home.
Yep.
Sort of Monday to Friday, is it just do your own thing, whether going to the gym, hanging out with friends or whatever, cook dinner?
Yep. Usually tonight I'm hanging out with some friends that are moving out of town. So we're just going to get some takeout, chill out.
Don't have to help with homework or anything?
No.
Shit. Oh, tell me more. No.
No. It's of being a parent. I'm sure there's lots of.
Yeah, there's plenty. Last couple of weeks have been hectic because we're on school holidays at the moment. But generally, in the morning, up a bit earlier, school lunches. I guess in a week, there's school lunches in the morning. Getting the kids clothed as much as they want to go to school, just in their jocks and footy shorts. Getting the clothes in between the normal life stuff of like putting clothes on, packing your school bag, cleaning your room, turn your light off, turn your fan off. Who left that light on? We're sort of breaking up World War III. I don't really give my kids a name. They're just called number 1, 2, and 3. Oldest, middle, youngest. So breaking up conflict between 1, who's usually stirring up 2 and 3. 3's turned into a bit of a screamer. So when someone's in his zone, he just screams and lashes out. In between that, getting them some sort of breakfast. We usually do bacon and eggs most mornings. So cooking that. Trying to juggle. My wife and I will usually try and pre-plan the week. Who's dropping off kids, who's picking up kids.
Yeah.
When it's not school holidays, after school is a mix of multiple sports and kind of extra curricular-y stuff. Tutor, rugby league, rugby union, AFL, jiu-jitsu, there might be some swimming in there. There's a heap of stuff. So the staff here have asked me why I scratch my ass so much at work. It's because that is the time I have. When I get here, I have time to scratch my ass and I take pleasure in it. Shout out. Anyway, and I also sleep in the office as well. That's my sleeping time.
He just shuts his eyes for a few minutes.
Yep. Yeah. And then a bit of coordination between the wife and I on who's going to cook dinner, pre-planned dinner. Sometimes we try and cook overnight or in the morning. Is what it is. Hopefully my near 12-year-old, he's actually pretty good. He can sort of cook his own breakfast sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
No judgment. He's nearly 12. He's still putting his nappy on. No, that's a joke. No, he can get himself changed. And then you're talking about showers and all that kind of stuff, wind down, reading, homework, all that kind of stuff. In between that, you're trying to, I guess, do all your admin, grocery shopping, making sure, I don't know, the rego on the insurances are done.
Yep, life admin.
Weekends are kids' sporting events and a bit of socialising. A lot of my friend group have kids as well. So you just put them in the bullpen and let them go.
Just let them off.
Yeah, let them go. A few of us that are qualified in weapons will sit around with like tranquilizer weapons, and if one's stirring up, just
take them out.
Yeah, just put them down, lower the heart rate. So that's kind of what it looks like. But on a financial sense, there is the obvious ones. Our kids do a lot of stuff, but even if they didn't do stuff, you got to send them to school, which is pretty much free, but there's extra clothes, extra food. Talk about power stuff. I've heard some nightmare scenarios from some guys that have, I've got all sons, but some that have daughters, when they all grow up to teenage years, they have like 40-minute showers. They use a heap of
guilty.
Yep, there you go. Like all your things like power, internet, leaving the fridge open. fan on, aircon if they need it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're on about our 10th set of Crocs and thongs per kid. They just leave them in random spots. Water bottles
Get
go
lost.
missing.
Yeah.
Torn clothes, trash toys. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Am I getting worked up? Look, my watch is telling me my blood pressure's at like 1,000,000. So.
Oh, your kids are so cute.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. There's obviously the upside. You get to meet a heap of new people. You get the experience with your kids. Take them on the journey.
The joy, the happiness.
There's plenty of that. My number 3 is pretty mad at hugs. He's a serial hugger, and so am I.
Oh.
So I cop a few from him. And in between their hell-raising moments, they're actually pretty. My wife definitely puts a lot of effort into them being kind, cheeky, but they give a fair bit as well, which is. And naturally, as time goes on, they'll look after mum more than dad, so I just get cast out. We haven't even talked about the physical damage yet. I've got to play footy with them, wrestle them. I get choked, punched, shot with a Nerf gun, tackled, ganged up on, farted on.
The list goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's right. Okay. So, so they're kind of the what we call them, the qualitative differences, besides JMac having a surplus 40 hours a week to just.
I feel like I do compared to all the stuff you guys do.
I don't want to talk about it. But, so going on to the number side, just a few things. Look, we just wanted to run like a real quick comparison. DINK versus the DILK, no kids versus the kids, same incomes, and what it might look like, say, for some of the sacrifices you might give up in the long term. And this one we're just purely going to use a superannuation example, without sort of digging into it. So as I mentioned before, both families, one with 2 kids in primary school and the other family is just the couple, 100 grand earnings, 2.5 grand in their savings account. They pay their tax, they've got their net income, dual income, no kids. The rough fixed expenses on a national average is about 65 grand a year.
Mm-hmm.
Discretionary expenses is about 40 grand a year. So discretionary can obviously be, look, you're spending a bit, you're doing a lot more coupley stuff, hobbies or whatever, but maybe not spending as much as a family couple just because it's only you two.
Yeah.
But maybe you can, upgrade to business class, which is, I'm pretty sure, what you do, take more time off, all that kind of stuff.
I wish.
But, so 156 grand in the hand, take out about 105 grand from all your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Your net cash flow is roughly about $51,000, give or take, as a rough one. What you do with that money, that's kind of up to you. We'll get it in a second. Switch over to the DILK side, dual income, lots of kids, 2 kids in primary school. Adults earn the same, 100 grand each. The savings from income is a little bit lower because I guess they might have less excess cash to put in a savings account.
Mm-hmm. So
they're earning about, for them, I did the math off a bank account. So for the DINK couple, 50 grand in the bank, earning 5% is about 2.5 grand a year.
Okay.
For the DILK couple, they've got about 40 grand in the bank, earning 5%, which is 2 grand a year, give or take. Pay their tax, their net income's about 155, nearly 156.
Yep.
But when we talk about averages for costs for a DILK, fixed expenses is about 97.5 grand.
What?
2 kids in primary school. That's not diving into what type of primary school, whether it's, that's right in the middle. State schools are usually pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Then your private schools start from like your Catholic all the way up to your top line stuff, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
We live in Townsville at the moment. A top primary school private is around even if we're getting into high schools, around like the 10 to 15 a year per kid. When you go down to your big cities like Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, some of their upper echelon private schools, you're talking 20, 30 grand a year.
Wow.
So again, where do you want to send your kids? That's sort of up to you. So there's your fixed expenses. Discretionary is about 52.5 a year. So that's just because you're probably spending a bit more. We spend a bit on, kids have got to play footy, do swimming lessons, hang out with their mates, a little bit of pocket money. You might be buying them a bike, everything like.
Even activities, like instead of just 2 of you, you've got to pay 4, and then if you bring their friends along, like to go play Kingpin or go to the movies.
For your DINK life, what's a casual breakfast for you and your partner cost? Whether you're having coffees and a breakfast, what is it usually?
Yeah, maybe $60.
60?
70 maybe?
For us, when we go out to eat breakfast, we only get toast, and that costs 100. No, that's true. We definitely, if we go for breakfast, we don't get change for $100. Usually about 120. That's maybe a coffee or two each for myself and my wife. Two of my kids can probably polish off nearly an adult meal. So like your omelette or your scrambled with bacon, about $120 can be.
So double.
Give or take. Yeah, and then you can, if we do like a lunch, which is sometimes, that obviously goes up. Most kids' meals range between $12 to $20 for a kids' meal, but that doesn't always cut it. That's maybe like a basic nuggets and chips, but then you throw in soft drinks. Everything's kind of multiplied nearly by double. Ice cream. Some places offer it for free.
Oh.
Yep, you got to find them. Plus, they got their little playpen. But anyway, so when we compare the expenses of the two, DINK is roughly around the 105 grand a year. DILK is about the 150 grand a year. So if we're looking at pretty much the same incomes, you can already see a difference in the net cash flow.
Yeah.
DINK is about 51,000 a year of money left over to do stuff with. DILK is about nearly 6 grand left over. Fair bit of a difference. It is what it is. You've just got to. Families have been doing it for centuries, finding fudge in that budget to how we're going to invest, put more money in super, buy a car, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess straight away from that, people can see, like our listeners out there can go, wow, 51 grand versus nearly 6 grand, that's a fair bit of difference. That's about 45 grand,
45 G's.
Give or take. Different. We've talked about it on other episodes. How much do you want it to work for you? Some people just spend all that money on holidays like you do, maybe not. And I'll just say yourself and your partner have got a bit of a plan for your spare money. Like I guess you invest some, save some, spend a lot.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, we're investing in a few different things. So a lot of our surplus goes to that, but then we're also renovating. Or we have been renovating the last 4 or 5 years.
So you're renovating even without kids. Jessie, the good news for you is if you have kids, they'll make you renovate. You're constantly going to be putting a lick of paint on, patching up holes, no scooters in the house, no headbutting each other with helmets and then careening off each other and plowing through the wall. Like, okay, no, fair enough.
And travel.
Yeah, and travel, but I guess, that's probably the right problem to have. So, just playing around with those numbers, we just sort of had a look at, well, what happens if each couple were to put half of that spare money into their super? Real basic maths.
Half of the surplus, yeah.
Yeah, half of their surplus. So the DINK will say your end, you've got 51 grand spare. So what happens if you and your partner put in about 25 grand into super, so 12 and a half each, give or take, from your, say, age 30 or 35.
Yeah.
So from age 35 to 60, it's 25 years. And then compare that, say, to the DILK couple that have only got about nearly 6 grand. So about 3 grand extra goes into super. But what I did is I just tweaked it, and I've only done that small amount for 18 years, because then after 18 years, the kids are out of the house, Spartan kick to the rear end, get out. Mum and dad can go back to living their life and putting more money in super or whatever they want to do to hopefully not retire living on the streets. No, that was a joke as well. So yourself and your partner in the DINK couple are putting in about 25 grand extra a year. We won't talk about tax deductions or anything.
Yeah.
The DILK couple are putting in about nearly 3 grand a year. Let's just say your super's earning about 8% a year.
Yeah.
And we've just added 3% on those two incomes that we talked about. Everyone's earning 100 grand.
Okay.
So every year that's kind of going up with inflation. Cool. Couple of differences. One we haven't touched on yet is the DILK couple. Sorry, at 35, both the DINK couple have 150 grand in super. because you haven't really had to have time off. Like you haven't had kids, especially 2 kids, especially for the mother. They will usually have 6 to 12 months off.
At least, yeah.
So the DILK couple, let's just say the husband for this has got about 150 grand in super, but the mum's only got about 125 grand. Just because she's had 2 kids and she's had a year off for, say, both those kids.
Yeah.
Roughly, pretty much as we speak, government, the minimum super is about 12 grand. 12%. So earning 100 grand, you're losing about 12 grand a year that you take off. So 35 years old for everyone. DINK couple, 150 grand in their super already each. DILK couple, 150 and then 125.
Got it.
Cool. Now we've plugged in the other numbers where they're adding those extra bits. 8% a year. We fast forward to age 60. How much do you reckon the DINK couple collectively will have in their super? I'll ask you one question before we do that. Today, you're both 35. You've got 300 grand in super. You've got about 300 grand in super. When you get to 60, how much do you reckon you'll have going off those bits of information?
Oh, if you're smashing out, maybe like $1 grand or 2.
Yeah,
like $1 million or 2.
Just $1 million or 2 for you guys, right? For the DINK couple, at 60, you'll have about 5.3 million bucks.
What?
Give or take.
$5 million.
That wasn't me farting, by the way, in case you're not watching the camera. It was just me exasperated.
It's just the noises.
5.372 million at 60. That's with you earning 100 grand a year now. That goes up by 3% a year for the next 25 years. You're starting with 300 grand in super collectively. You're putting in an extra 25 grand between you every year for the next 25 years.
That's huge.
It's pretty cool. Good news is by then, 4%, that's about a 200 and something grand a year income pension if you want to make yourself that one. Crazy to think that you might have that working one day a year or whatever you do now, one day a month, DINK life. All right, DILK couple. Yes. Same information, 35 years old, but they're only starting with about 275 in their super, just because we mentioned the mother has taken some time off, lost her income, super's a bit lower.
Yeah.
They're putting in about nearly 3 grand a year extra into the super, which is great. They're planning for the future. How much do you reckon they'll end up having when they're 60?
Oh, maybe they're $1 million or 2.
Give or take. I failed to mention that we mentioned it before. When they're about 54 years old, give or take, or coming up to 54, that's when they'll start putting in the same amount of super as the DINK couple because their kids have moved out.
Yeah, and we see that a lot with couples.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, which generally happens for some people. The bills go out, the kids are independent now, they really start supercharging their retirement-y, nest eggy stuff because they can. They've freed up all this cash flow.
Yeah.
So from the age of 54 to 59, they're level pegged with the DINK couple on how much extra they're putting into super.
Yeah, right.
So with that in mind, when they get to 60, they will have about 3.8 mil in super.
Yeah, right. That's a bit of a difference between the two.
Just a wee bit. Think how joyous they would have been. The kids have left the nest only to contact them on their birthday and Christmas and Mother's Day. They've done all that hard work, all those hard yards.
Yeah.
Now the kids are out. Hopefully they're not in the gutter somewhere smoking vapes. No, don't.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, maybe. But I guess that's very numerical. Obviously there's a lot more to it. But just to outline, I guess, the long-term planning, investments over time, the nature of the beast that comes with having kids, there is going to be potentially some financial kind of ramifications, but it's not all doom and gloom.
No.
So just wanted to outline that one. I guess to sort of summarise on that, don't let it sway you because there's obviously a lot of benefits. Humans have been having kids for a long time.
Very long time.
So, you know, can't sort of, once you've had kids, you can't really sort of give them back, I suppose. That's probably the big one out of that one. But to summarise, JMac, every parent's different. I will be keeping a tab and I will probably slip them some sort of invoice.
Do you send them a yearly statement or?
I should.
Hospital bill, soccer practice.
As a financial advisor, do I go, hey, look, pay this bill now. This is your yearly bill. I don't know, 10 grand.
Yeah.
Pay this now. Otherwise, if you let it fester till you're 18, 20, it's going to compound.
The interest.
With interest. And I'll be nice, Dad, and I'll only add inflation.
Very generous of you.
Probably going to do a spreadsheet about that somewhere. If my kids become really wealthy in the future, I'll definitely invoice them. No, I don't really care. All I tell them pretty much every day is just look after your mother. I don't need much. So,
Aww.
And let's be honest, mothers do pretty much most of the hard work during birth and throughout the remainder.
They're amazing. Shout out.
Any points you want to highlight? So has this convinced you that you should have at least 5 kids?
5?
Yeah.
Is that even possible these days?
Yeah.
I'll have negative like 45 grand, I think.
Burp. That's pretty much everyone. Yeah.
No, that's really interesting. And I feel like to get ahead as a DILK, even like looking at your super earlier on and making it more aggressive can be a way to get ahead of the DINKs.
It's a valid point. Time's on your side.
Especially women who are taking time off.
Yeah, and we talk about that with couples, especially those that are sort of coming off or looking. It's generally a big question I get from couples. The spouse, as in the female spouse or the mother, will have a lot less super due to those things we outlined.
And income if they're coming and going from their career.
Yeah, and some of them, it might take them a few years to get back in their sort of career and their earning potential. But we do help, I guess we do add to that by, if super's the way they want to go, what we can do with it, increasing contributions, the strategy of it, the allocation, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I feel like I see a lot of DILKs.
Yep.
And, you know, sometimes they're ahead of the DINKs because the DINKs have more surplus, but they spend it on more discretionary, whereas the DILKs, you know, maybe are more
probably
good
a lot
with their
more
money and
budget orientated.
They're like, we want to put money aside for our future kids. We want to make sure our super, so they're more on top of it. So
is that pretty much? Have you just answered your own lifestyle statement? Because you and your partner pretty much just flicking credit cards out everywhere. You're like, spending what's that? I got no other one to feed. If a partner or I got no money next week, we just live off water or something. Whereas, you know, like parents with kids are just like, oh man, if we don't have any money, we're going to have 3 whinging kids or 2 whinging kids. And, oh, Jesus.
Got to feed them.
I better keep 50 in my sock. For that one. Yeah, it's a valid point.
But no, that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that was very insightful for a child-free person to consider. So.
I'm pretty sure I just helped the nation grow the population with that information. God damn. All right, thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you for the next one.
Bye.
Ciao.